The Assassin's Creed series tells an alternative history of the creation and development of human civilization, and it all ties back to an ancient, super advanced species that ruled over Earth long before the Assassins and Templars even existed. Spanning over a dozen games, the lore of this massively beloved series is vast. But the semi-magical through-line of all Assassin's Creed games and the age-old battle over ancient technology is secretive, and altogether more complex. There will be spoilers ahead, but let's dive in and see where this series and the origin of humanity all began. Long before humanity's existence, there were those who came before. The first civilization that ruled Earth over 77,000 years ago were called the Isu. The Isu were a super advanced ancient race of humanoids that were better than humans in just about every way, with longer lifespans, 6 senses instead of 5, and even triple helix DNA structure. Even though they seem a bit like aliens, they were native to Earth and were a result of thousands of years of evolution, but their origins are still somewhat unclear. The Isu created and bred an obedient, simple-minded race of creatures to use as an enslaved workforce, humans. Early humans couldn't really comprehend the Isu and their intelligence, so they viewed the Isu as gods. Humans were built to survive, but they weren't intended to be very smart. In fact, the Isu also created Neanderthals to use as a military force. However, to keep humanity under control, the Isu crafted technologies known as Pieces of Eden. These are a collection of powerful devices that tap into human brains through a network of neurotransmitters to ensure their total obedience. These Pieces of Eden include King Arthur's sword Excalibur, the crystal skulls, and the broken spear of Leonidas. Some Pieces of Eden are used for mind control, but others can empower the person using it. The Swords of Eden grant leadership and charisma, and the Shrouds of Eden grant powers of healing and restoration. Pieces of Eden have been utilized to help some of the most influential leaders in history, including Genghis Khan, Napoleon, and Gandhi. These are the items the Assassins and Templars have been fighting over for centuries. The Templar Order hopes to exploit the Pieces of Eden to help them achieve a new world order, while their enemies, the Assassins, seek to guard them. But there are certain humans born without the neurotransmitters that give Pieces of Eden their power, making them immune to the artifact's mind control abilities. These are human Isu hybrids. Hybrids and their subsequent bloodlines have an extrasensory perception, or a sixth sense, called eagle vision, also known as Odin's sight by Viking assassins. Not only did Altair, Ezio, Bayek, and many other noteworthy assassins have this hyper-awareness, but the sense was also possessed by the first known hybrids, Adam and Eve. In an ancient Isu city referred to as the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve, using their hybrid ability to resist mind control, stole an apple of Eden, which doesn't actually look like an apple at all. This rebellion erupted into a full-scale war between humans and their so-called gods, the Isu, in 75,010 BCE. The first civilization was more technologically advanced, but humans had the advantage of numbers. Big numbers. With millions more human fighters compared to their creators, this civil war went on for a decade, with much higher casualties than the Isu expected, but they were so distracted fighting the war that they failed to notice an impending disaster approaching Earth, a massive solar flare. A small group of Isu, referred to as the Capitoline Triad, who weren't participating in the war, attempted to prevent the solar flare. The trio, made up of Minerva, Juno, and Jupiter, tried to find possible solutions and tested them in underground temples called vaults, but ultimately all of them failed. After accepting their fate, Minerva decided to dedicate herself to preventing the inevitable reoccurrence of a solar flare in the future, while Juno focused on her own, more sinister plans. Juno didn't exactly want to save Earth, she wanted to conquer it, and make humans pay for daring to revolt against their creators. When Minerva and Jupiter discovered Juno's motives, they quickly imprisoned her in what is essentially limbo. As the solar flare approached Earth, Minerva finally managed to find a solution to prevent future solar flares. She constructed a pedestal called the Eye that had the power to alter the patterns and equations of existence to protect the Earth and leave hidden messages of warning for future humans. But before Minerva could use the device, she discovered Juno had tampered with it so that it would set her free from imprisonment upon activation. Refusing to unleash Juno, Minerva destroyed the device, sealing the Earth's fate to face the solar flare. When the disaster struck, a massive eruption of magma from the surface of the sun flipped the Earth's weakened magnetic field, reversing its polarity and exposing the Earth to the sun's radiation. This event, the Toba Catastrophe, scorched the planet and wiped out the majority of life on Earth, including most of the Isu and humans, but not all of them. Sometime after the Toba Catastrophe, the son of Adam and Eve, Cain, killed his brother Abel to take the apple of Eden previously possessed by their parents. To pay for his crime, Cain was branded with a red cross, which his followers named the Mark of Cain. Hundreds of years later, the Mark of Cain was adopted as the insignia of the children of Cain's future incarnation, the Knights Templar. After the war and the Toba Catastrophe, the Isu and humans worked together to rebuild their world, but the Isu weren't able to fully rebuild their population, leading to the inevitable decline toward their extinction. However, they knew another solar flare would occur eventually, so they took steps to prevent it. Minerva built a second eye device and recorded hologram messages of warning in a vault underneath what would become Vatican City in Rome. In these messages, Minerva warned of Earth's impending doom and spoke of the temples that could save Earth from destruction, built by those who knew to turn away from war. Only 100 years after the temples were built, the first civilization was almost completely extinct, and this message was one of the last remaining vestiges of the first civilization. After the Isu faded into obscurity, the first instance of a modern human discovering their existence was by a descendant of Adam, Altair. It wasn't for 300 more years that humanity would encounter them again when a descendant of Altair, the assassin Ezio Auditore da Firenze, found Minerva's hologram underneath the Vatican. Ezio told the other assassins about Minerva, but they didn't really understand her true nature and power. Even Ezio seemed to have a hard time rationalizing her existence. 500 years after Ezio, his descendant Desmond Miles was forced by Abstergo Industries to receive Minerva's messages through the memories of Altair and Ezio. At the end of Assassin's Creed 3, Desmond bravely sacrificed himself using the Eye pedestal to save the world, but in doing so he unleashed Juno from her imprisonment into the digital world to wreak havoc under the guise of saving humans from themselves, which sounds a lot like Thanos. But don't worry, Juno hasn't been able to achieve her goal, for now.
I will save you all.
While we don't know too much about Assassin's Creed Valhalla yet, fans are already speculating the ways the Isu and the Pieces of Eden could play a role in the next installment of the popular series. In Valhalla, we'll be playing as Vikings, but of course, every Assassin's Creed game involves elements of sorcery intertwined with Earth's alternative history. In the series lore, the Isu seem to have directly influenced different polytheistic religions, since many of them have the same names as Roman gods like Minerva, Juno, and Jupiter. It becomes even more apparent in Assassin's Creed Origins and Odyssey when it's revealed that the Egyptian and Greek gods are also actually Isu. It seems possible that Valhalla could include the Isu as the Norse gods, like Odin, Thor, Loki, or Freya. In Norse mythology, Valhalla means the Hall of the Slain, and is an enormous, majestic hall in Asgard ruled by the god Odin. The legend says that when warriors died in combat, Odin chose the best fighters and sent Valkyries to lead them to Valhalla upon dying, so they can aid Odin during the battles of Ragnarok. The whole ceiling was thatched with golden shields and was surrounded by legendary creatures and the Golden Tree Glacier. It seems possible that there might be Norse Pieces of Eden in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, or even a humanity-threatening event like Ragnarok. But we'll just have to keep waiting until November to find out. For more on Assassin's Creed Valhalla and other episodes of Lorescape, including ones on The Witcher 3 and The Sims, make sure you keep your eyes peeled to youtube.com/GameSpot. This is Lucy James reading for Miranda Church.